Have you thought about what you want your life to actually look like in retirement? This is a step that I think a lot of people skip when they're doing all the financial planning and everything else you do when you get ready for retirement. And look, this is probably the first time you can actually craft the life that you want to live. Let me explain more right now. Just in case you're new here, I'm Jeff. This is the Retirement Mentality Channel. It's a place where I want to change your mentality about retirement. And I like to try to talk about things that I don't see everybody else in this space talking about. And I'm not just generating five talking points off of ChatGPT or something. So today I want to tell you a little story to kind of show you what I'm talking about by not figuring out what you want your life to look like in retirement. I was at my college graduation, and a friend of mine came up to me and he was like, "Woohoo, we graduated. Yeah." And he's like, "What are you going to do now?" And I was like, I have no idea. I have not actually put 1 second of thought into what I was going to do after graduation, because I was putting all my effort into graduating and passing exams and everything else that you worry about in college. And I didn't have a clue where I wanted to live, what I wanted to do. And he was like, "I have a job in Yellowstone National Park." And I was like, "That sounds great." And I moved to Yellowstone National Park with my buddy, and we were, cleaning hotel rooms and just partying and having a great life out there, hiking and doing all the nature things you do. But that decision changed the progress of how my life developed from there, because then I went from there to Montana and blah, 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 blah. And it literally changed my whole life. But it was changed because I made a decision on a whim. And I think in retirement, people do the same thing. They work so hard to get to retirement. They crunch the numbers so many times. They don't think about what they want their life to actually look like. You know, you go to college or you get a job and then you get married and then you have kids, and your life is just set on all these decisions just kind of guide your life. It's like a train stuck on a train track that can't get off until one day you're retired and the kids are grown, or whatever it is, and all of a sudden you're empty nesters and you never put 1 second of thought into what you wanted your life to actually look like. So you can do all the financial calculations in the world, but it doesn't matter, because you don't know what your life is going to cost. If you're just going to stay in your house you've been in for 50 years and the mortgage is paid off and you want to sit and watch Netflix for the rest of your life, I guess you know what that's going to cost. But for me, I'm looking at moving to another country. I already, when I retired at 45, we moved down to the Virgin Islands, and I made this mistake by not calculating how much my life would cost down in the islands. And it turned out my life cost more than what my retirement income was. So after 3 years, we decided that we would come back to Florida, where it was more affordable, and we would have less stresses on us because of the financial side of what our life cost. So now I've corrected that mistake, and we're looking at moving to Europe possibly. And I've calculated exactly how much that costs, and it costs even less than what our life costs here in Florida. So we're going to have more play money, and we're going to have more travel money, and we're going to be able to do more fun things. It's the same mistake I think a lot of people make with budgets. I call a budget like the dream of what you want to spend. It's not what you actually spend. I think tracking your expenses and seeing how much your life costs that you live now, and then seeing where you can make tweaks, to me, that's budgeting. It's not saying I want to spend $5,000 a month and then figuring out how to spend $5,000 a month. It's looking at what your life costs and then figuring out where you're spending too much, where you can spend a little bit more. And so in crafting your new life in retirement, it's the same thing. If you want to go live in the Virgin Islands, you can do it, but you have to know what it's going to cost. If you want to go live in Thailand or Indonesia, it's going to be cheaper, And the point to this is that you can probably retire earlier when you know what your life is going to cost. So by figuring out what you want your life to look like, figuring out what it's going to cost, then that's when there's 5 million videos on the internet titled "When is enough enough?" Because nobody knows when enough is enough, because they don't know what their freaking life costs. That's the whole point, is figuring that out, and then all the rest of the dominoes will fall into place. That's it. I don't need to make a 20-minute video. That's my point. I'm going to stop it right here. And if you like this video, then go watch this video next, because it's sort of on the same topic, but a little bit different angle. Thanks for watching. Hey, subscribe, hit the like button, do all those things you're supposed to do, and you'll see more of this great stuff. Thanks.